Will building muscle actually get you girls? Well, the simple answer to this is fuck yes. Of course it will. And there's an obvious reason, that is simply because of attractiveness. Girls want an attractive guy, it is plain and simple. If you still believe that personality matters or personality trumps looks, then you are stupid. Looks are the entry point, looks get you in to the attraction market, to the dating market. So firstly, you need to stop coping and understand that yes, building a physique, building muscle is very, very important, and it is the number one thing that you can do to increase your attractiveness and actually get girls. And it's not just because when you look sexy as fuck, you're more attractive to the general eye. It is also because having a good physique, building muscle shows that you have discipline, and we know that in a hypergamous world, which basically means girls want to go for the best option, you need to be disciplined and you need to have something going for you. And a lot of the time, guys start the gym because this is what they think will actually get them girls, and simple, building muscle will, and it did for me as well. However, the younger me soon realized that building all this muscle and getting a good physique only mattered and was only successful in attracting girls if I followed the two specific conditions which you need to meet to actually attract girls when you build your physique. Because believe it or not, there is a difference between getting looked at and being perceived as hot or attractive visually and actually having girls lusting over you and becoming obsessed with you. And I had to learn this the hard way myself, but I want to save you from experiencing this problem, because I thought that building the physique would carry everything, would get me every single result that I needed, but I was wrong. Unless you're Chad, unless you're a hyper good looking guy, then nothing else matters. Even if you just have good looks, you are good. You have obsession, you have love, you have everything you need. But if you're a normal guy building yourself up from the ground, just like I did from a shit starting point, you still need to meet these two conditions, or else all of this muscle building and all of this physique building and this training will not really yield you the results that you actually expected in the first place. And the first condition is that you must actually build the physique that will elicit the correct attraction, and not just a physique that has muscle. Because there's a difference between being a blocky bodybuilder or a powerlifter and being some guy who is aesthetic and has sex appeal. And this is where so many guys fail, and it reminds me of a reel I literally saw like 2 days ago. It was a shredded dude with a six-pack on the beach, and the caption said, "Nobody cares about how much you deadlift when you take your shirt off at the beach." And it literally stuck to me, and it made me think, holy fuck, that is so correct. Because most of the time, guys, myself included, we just care about getting giga strong and getting fucking mega massive. And when I first started, all I wanted to do was get fucking big and get beefed up. And this is the right thing. You do need to bulk up. You can't be a skinny twink. You need to have a good amount of muscle mass. But you can go too far with this, and you can actually put yourself into more of a negative position than what you started at, and attract less girls and be deemed as kind of weird and ugly, even though you have a good amount of muscle. And I've seen this firsthand. Guys go hard in the gym, they grind, they fucking train, they track everything, they even take steroids, and they end up still looking like shit. You would expect some guy taking steroids to look like a fucking Greek god, to look incredible. I opened up Instagram the other day, and one of the guys I know from the gym, he's been blasting steroids. Yeah, he got hella strong. However, he posted a shirtless story picture, and he looked like he was built like a fridge. He looked terrible. There was hardly any shape. There was no body contouring, no Greek god stature aesthetic. He just looked like a block with a bit of muscle, and you couldn't even really tell he had that much muscle. He just looked kind of fat, but kind of bulked up at the same time. And I don't know, if I was a girl, I would not be finding this shit attractive. So you need to not be one of these guys who thinks that just building a ton of muscle and building a massive bulky physique will be the key to getting attraction. Because yes, it will get you noticed, it will get you looked at, but will it get you the true sex appeal that you actually desired? Will it get you the female gaze? Will it have girls looking at you how they look at the movie characters that are chiseled and attractive? Probably not. And that leads directly into the second condition, which I'm guilty for myself, and I teach every single guy that I meet nowadays to avoid doing, and that is to not become a gym cell. A gym cell is a guy who is basically obsessed with the gym. However, it becomes his whole personality in a negative way, and it destroys social connection, and it makes it hard for him to actually bond and seem unique and have depth. So building a body, building muscle, it has to be something that is interlaced into your personality. It has to be a part of your character. You are the guy who is vibrant, who is social, who is actually attractive, and he has a good physique on top of that. You're not just the guy with big muscles. That you can't get anywhere with that unless you're going to become a professional bodybuilder or you're on a very big scale of influence. You are not going to get the attraction that you want if you just become somebody who purely dedicates their life and everything they talk about, everything they think about to the gym. When I first started, when you first start yourself, you probably remember doing this yourself, and this is fine. Or if you're in this position now, I would advocate for you to focus on the gym and make it one of the only things you care about, because building muscle, building a physique is the single greatest thing you can do to improve your mental, physical, social, everything, every type of health in your life as a young guy trying to improve. However, once you get to a certain point, you need to realize that talking to everybody about how much you bench is fucking gay and nobody cares. You need to have depth of character. You can easily identify and tell if somebody's a gym cell or if you are a gym cell yourself by if all you seem to talk about or all you seem to care about is the gym. And for example, when you post pictures, all you're doing is posting giga flexed up, ultra try hard photos. Yeah, it looks good to guys and it's kind of cool to track your progress, but this is not the way to go if we actually want to become attractive, because even guys who have built the correct physique still manage to fall into this gym cell category, and they cut themselves short and they shoot themselves in the foot. And I've done the same thing myself. And then I realized that realistically, you don't need a whole lot of muscle. You just need to have it interlaced and intertwined into your personality and into your whole persona, your well-rounded character, to become successful in attraction, in social settings, in everything that you actually wanted in the first place. So how do we actually fix these issues, or how do we master both? How do we get the correct physique so we can actually attract girls? And how do we actually package ourselves so that we're not a gym cell loser who just cares about the gym? Well, the first thing I'm going to explain to you is the physique that you have to build. You need to be building a physique that elicits sex appeal from girls. You don't want to be appealing too much to guys. You don't want to be getting massive arms and massive everything where all the bros in the gym say, oh, good shit, bro. You don't want to be doing that. You want to have the physique, the movie star physique that girls basically lust for. And the key components of this is a V-taper, which means your shoulder to waist ratio is like this. You look like an upside down triangle. And I teach you how to do this inside of my community, which you can check in the link below. But also you need to be lean and you need to have a shoulder dominant wide frame physique, right? And the key ways you can do this, to keep it simple, is by getting very big lats, training pull-ups and training heavy pulling movements and your back in general, and also training your shoulders so you can develop width and a depth and a 3D shape inside of your delts. So that's going to make you increase your size, your perceived attractiveness, and your perceived dominance, especially if you're far away from somebody. The first thing they're going to notice is your V-taper and how big you are and how much space you take up. Not in a way where you look like a fridge, but in a way where you look like Superman instead. And obviously getting lean, something I'm working on myself right now. Simply just do more cardio, eat less, and expend more calories than what you consume throughout the day. Like I said, if you want the specific routine for this, if you want the specific step-by-step, no bullshit guide to this, you can check my YouTube channel for tips and tricks and video tutorials. But you can also join the link in the description, my community, where you can learn everything you need to level yourself up as a young guy, how I completely changed my life, everything I learned and have learned and experienced is inside of that community. So join up by the link below and I'll see you inside. So once we've built the correct physique, once we're on the way to building a physique that is actually deemed attractive, then we need to become well-rounded. Because like I said, the physique is the entry point. The physique is like getting your foot inside of the door. You still can't fit through the door. You still can't get into the room, right? It gets the opening to the room. But what you need to do is develop all other skills, social skills, mental health skills, all these other components and aspects of you as a young guy, actually be able to have enough points in life to actually get inside the room and use your physique as a leverage point to get girls and to just be successful socially in general. And to test if you're actually being a gym cell yourself and you're not doing this correctly, when is the last time that you actually went out and walked in the park? When is the last time that you actually had a deep conversation with someone? Chances are, if you're anything like I was, it was never. I was just caring about the gym like I explained, and this got me stuck and this got me no results with girls. If you answered not very often, or I can't remember the last time I did these things, to the two questions I just asked you, then why do you think why do you think chicks would want to be inside of your life if you're just that boring? You can't expect to build attractiveness and become a guy who gets girls and, you know, has a successful dating life if all you do is go to the gym, think about the gym, talk about the gym, then after the gym, you come home, eat food, lock yourself in the room, and watch videos about the fucking gym. Yes, it's good to develop a skill. Yes, it's good to have a passion. But you need to become well-rounded. You need to stand for something more than just being a fucking gym cell loser. So what's the key thing that you can do and what I did to actually help me with this? Well, it was simply to start going out more. I started doing stuff like going for dinner with my mates. It's very simple, or the simplest thing you can do that still ties into your gym fitness lifestyle is to have post-workout meals with people, because this is going to actually get you out of the house. Because right now you're probably coming home, cooking up your food, sitting inside like I said, and just watching YouTube videos, and then you don't do anything for the rest of the day. But if you just go to the gym with someone, probably with one of your gym workout partners, and then get meals of food afterwards out in the town, out in the city, wherever you live, then you're going to expose yourself to social environments. You're going to have to talk to people, talk to the people you're ordering from. You're going to potentially talk to other people. You're going to see things. You're going to do stuff. You're adding extra hours to your day where you're being social, and you're getting extra steps in, and you're, you know, just being fit in general by being outside and, you know, in the real world. And that was the easiest way I was able to integrate gym and fitness and social life together. And then eventually you got to start going on dates. Eventually you got to start meeting girls and talking to girls and getting on dating apps and doing all these things. And because you're actually being social with your friends, then it's going to be easier to do this with girls as well. Now, I hope this helped, because this was a real lesson that I had to learn, and I think it's super important for you as well. And remember, you can check my community in the link below to find out everything you need to improve yourself as a young guy. But with that being said, remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.